the audio begins.
As the sun awoke, it stretched its rays over the crest of the Chiltern Hills, illuminating the dew-drenched grassland.
This wood is actually an oak tree that was about 25 feet to the right of me. It was a dead oak that's been over there. The vast majority of the materials in all the sculptures are from here. Well, this structure is going to be very much about carving. I thought this ought to be a game as well. You close your eyes and you place your hand on the surface of the piece of oak, and then you choose a path, and then you'll work your way around the surface of the wood, and maybe you go in and out of crevices and through holes Eventually, if you follow the right path, you may find a nice big fat juicy moth.
I've used these greenwood work techniques in all the sculptures that we've produced for the trail, and feel it sort of carries on the tradition of the wood where the old greenwood craftsmen once made their living. We were particularly looking at things which were extracted from the wood in terms of timber, and we wanted to explore chalk, because the site where this particular one is located is right next to what was obviously a chalk quarry. We deliberately made this structure quite tall to kind of draw people's gaze upwards to look at the canopy above, because it's yeah, it's quite architectural in some ways, and so I think we wanted the piece to have a bit of an architectural feel to it.
The dormouse one is very much about collecting snail shells or nut shells or pieces of coloured stone and basically placing them inside it or around it. Do anything to it, you know, find some chalk and colour it in, or, you know, place a feather or place a nut. And I'd be very interested really to come back in a while and actually see. I'm hoping that it will evolve and take on a life of its own. The form is part nest and part nut, so it's very simple shape. It's woven in a chaotic kind of way.
Dropping stones from far away, imagine the hills that we now see, the chalky Chilterns of today.
This was Oak Ridge School in High Wycombe. I worked with them over a couple of days, introducing them to the pole lathe, the thing that the Bodgers used to use to make chair legs, we wanted to incorporate some elements in the piece which spoke of the chair industry here. The piece is representative of a ringousel's wing. It was deliberately constructed on a curve so that it almost kind of embraced the centerpiece of the sculpture.
It's here because it's by far the best point on this trail to actually appreciate what it might feel like to be like a kite and to imagine flying with kites. You can just stand here and you've got the kites flying very close to you. At times you can be above them and you can see them from above, and yeah, it's if you want to transport yourself into the world of kites, I think definitely the spot to be, isn't it, on this trail? And I think that's what I really want from all of the sculptures that are here. It's like, I just want a moment of empathy really with all of the creatures or with this place. I want something playful that those children that I've worked with can come and play with. Yeah, basically it's a seat, isn't it? It's somewhere you can sit and imagine. Perhaps people might collect feathers, and it would be quite nice if feathers started somehow attaching themselves to this over a period of time. So find a feather if you can, and find somewhere to put it.
We looked at the hare and everything about the hare, mythology, folklore, stories.
And came up with the idea of a sort of arch-like structure, filling in with these things called shingles, which also happen to be really good things for children to make.
Somebody came up with the one ear, so this is the one ear. By listening to the audio player, it will focus their mind on what is out there and help them to look down on the ground at this beautiful meadow and the small flowers here. So it's not just the large things we're focusing on, it's just kind of intensifying the gaze to the small. So that's why we wanted to make this place somewhere intimate, because it's speaking of something intimate. There's a story about burning juniper, yes, there's a mythology around and folklore about juniper, that if you burn it, it'll ward off the fairies that supposedly steal your babies and change them into changelings. Sometimes they leave a piece of wood and sometimes they leave one of their own children.